Yeah. Am I now audible to you, dear students?
Go live করে হ্যাঁ
Am I now audible to you, dear students? Am I now audible to you, dear students? Okay, thank you so much for having patience. Thank you. Okay, so dear students, now let's begin. So, see, you know the syllabus, so I shouldn't discuss on that. But let us first straight away discuss the question pattern, okay, so that you are able to have some idea as to what type of questions are coming, as well as the corresponding marks attached to each and every question. So, dear students, I'm just going to discuss those questions patterns with you. I'm just doing that, going to start very shortly. Just wait for a while, dear students. Okay, so dear students, as you can see on the screen, there will be a total of 6 questions. Of course, there are sub questions for each question, but overall there are 6 questions. And first question will be based on reading comprehension test. First question will be based on reading comprehension test, and there will be 5 MCQ type. Okay, there will be 5 MCQ type of questions from the passage. Okay, so therefore the first question is a MCQ type, and marks for the question number 1 is 5 marks. That is 1 question allotted or earmarked for each question. Okay, so dear students, before I move on to the next question number, let me give you some tips regarding how to answer quickly questions from reading comprehension. Dear students, you are not supposed to read the passage all together. What you do is, first you read the first paragraph and watch out for the questions from the beginning to the end. Okay, it's sometimes it so happens that the first question is from para 1, and again the 5th question can also be from para 1, because there are some vocabulary questions. Okay, so in that case you have to again read paragraph 1 if you cannot answer these two together, or at least you write down somewhere. Suppose the 5th question is also from para 1, then what you do is, in the question paper itself you mark the answer of question number 5, if at all question number 5 has answer in paragraph 1. Understood? So that is why instead of reading just 1 or 2 questions, you read all the questions after reading each paragraph. Okay, and those questions which you have already come across in para 1, you just mark in your question paper, so that you don't have to again look for this question. Okay, just give tick mark. It means you have already answered this question. Okay, so this is how you've got to approach towards answering questions from reading comprehension skill. Okay, what you will do, dear students, a recap or recapitulation for you. First of all, you will go paragraph 1. You shall read paragraph 1 and watch out for all the questions, question number 1 to question number 5, and check whether any question is given from question number 1 to 5, any question is given from any 1 or 2 questions given from para 1 or not. So if there is no more question, then you go to para 2. Otherwise, you look out or look for all the questions which can be given from para 1, and when you are certain that there is no more question from para 1, only then you go to para 2. Understood? Para 2 approach will be the same as para 1. after you go through para 2, you go through all the questions from question number 1 to question number 5 to find out whether more than one question has been given from para 2. So if you find that more than 2 questions have been given from para 2, then you answer these 2 questions together and then you proceed towards the third paragraph. Okay, understood? So please do remember this. Okay, and so this is my suggestion to all of you for answering MCQ type questions from reading comprehension skill. Okay, reading comprehension passage. Okay, now let us move on to question number 2. So there will be 4 MCQ type from tenses. Okay, there will be 4 MCQ type of questions from tenses. Dear students, I have conducted quiz. You might be remembering I have conducted online quiz from my website. So pattern will be similar to that. Okay, so if you have forgotten the pattern, you can take the quiz on my website once again. Go to the quiz section of my website and take the quiz from tense once again, so that you are able to know the pattern of the question from tense, okay, which is there in question number 2. So you shall get 4 MCQ type question. Each question will consist of 1 mark. Okay, next question number 3. Question number 3 will consist of 4 MCQ type from subject verb agreement. Okay, question number 3 will consist of 4 MCQ type from subject verb agreement. So like I have conducted the quiz on tense, similarly I have also conducted quiz on subject verb agreement. Therefore you can go through the quiz section of my website, find out the subject verb agreement, and then you shall be able to find out the pattern, okay, of the question paper. If you but if you remember, it's okay. If you don't remember, you have to again go through. Okay, so before I proceed on to question number 4, I would like to ask dear students, have you understood what I said till question number 3 and how to answer each of the questions? Do you understand? Have you heard properly? Okay, thank you. Thank you, dear students. Okay, I understood. So now let me go to question number 4. So dear students, as you can see, question number 4, there will be 3 very short question type. Very short. Remember dear students, it's not MCQ, it's very short. You've got to answer hardly in 1 line or 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, so there shall be 3 very short question type given from 2 extracts from poems, out of which you need to answer 3 questions from any one extract. So hopefully you understood. There will be 2 extracts from poetry. You know the poetry lesson of your syllabus. So one is ball poem, one is Tiger in the Zoo, another is Amanda. So there will be 2 extracts from these 3 poems. Out of these 2 extracts, you've got to answer only 1 extract. Okay, please do not answer both the extract. I've given you instruction clearly in the question paper. It so happens that sometimes students answer both the extracts. Please don't waste your time in the test. You answer only 1 extract, and each extract will consist of 3 questions, okay, of 1 mark each. Therefore a total of 3 marks from the extract, from each extract. You've got to answer any 1 extract. Okay, now let us switch over to question number 5. So dear students, there will be 5 short questions from First Flight and Footprints Without Feet. There will be 5 short questions, dear students. Okay, there will be 5 short questions from first flight and footprints without feet. So out of these five, there will be total 6 questions, out of which you've got to answer 5 questions. Okay, and these 5 questions will come from prose, poetry from first flight. Poetry very little though, hardly 1 or 2 at the most. Mostly from prose lessons. You've got to prepare short questions from first flight and footprints without feet. Okay, so each question will consist of 2 marks. Therefore, a total of 10 marks has been allotted for question number 5. And then lastly, there is a long question. Long in the sense that you've got to answer this question in 50 words. Okay, you've got to answer this question in 50 words. So one long question will be there. Okay, there will be 2 long question from first flight. Okay, you remember, there will not be any long question from your supplementary reader. There will be 2 long questions from your first flight prose lessons, out of which you have to answer 1 long question. There is a choice between the there is a choice for you in question number 6, out of the 2 questions you have to answer 1 question. And this question, dear students, is based on HOTS, that is high order thinking skill or value based. So how to answer the high order thinking skill question, dear students? Always remember that high order thinking skill questions cannot be given directly from the story. Okay, it is something which is given on the basis of your understanding of the lesson. So mostly you've got to write the answer of HOTS question based on your concept of the lesson. There will not be any direct answer of the question in the textbook, but you may have some incidents or 2 to support your answer. Of course, there may be some incidents, there may be 2 or 3 instances from the story to support your answer, but the answer is not directly given. That is why it is called high order thinking skill. So dear students, there are 2 types of understanding of a prose lesson. Always remember, the first one is local understanding, or it is called local comprehension of the text, and another type of comprehension is called the global comprehension of the text. So local comprehension means the answer is directly given in the textbook, whereas the global comprehension means questions based on HOTS and value based questions. Okay, they are called global comprehension. Global means to what extent you have understood the message of the lesson. Okay, the message of the lesson, the concept of the lesson, reading between the lines. Okay, these things come under global comprehension, and HOTS and value based questions are always based on, dear students, global comprehension. Okay, so the last question, that is question number 6, will be based on HOTS or value based question. You've got to answer a question in 50 marks. There is a choice for you. Out of the 2 questions, you've got to answer 1 question. And remember, dear students, both the long questions will be from first flight itself. I have not given you any long question from footprints without feet. I have given both the long questions from first flight. Okay, so dear students, you answered question number 6 very carefully. Do not simply write what is not required. Write down what is wanted in the question based on your understanding of the lesson. Do not write anything irrelevant in question number 6. Okay, because if you write anything irrelevant, it's a waste of time, and on the other hand, you shall be awarded no marks or very little marks. Therefore, you please answer relevant value points only. Okay, for question number 6, and the rest of the questions are all based on local comprehension, dear students. Therefore, the answers are already there in the textbook. You shall be able to answer, but question number 6 you need to answer based on your global understanding of the text. Okay, So that's all about the discussion of the types of questions and distribution of marks. Okay, so before I proceed, may I ask you some questions, like if you have any doubt regarding what I have discussed with you at the moment, or I have discussed with you just now, can you please ask me any question regarding this? Do you if you have any doubt regarding the type of questions, you can ask me, or otherwise, or else I should proceed with my next section. Okay, so you've understood, it seems, all of you. Very good. Okay, today the online attendance is very high, it seems. Okay, so now, dear students, do you have you understood the poem "A Tiger in the Zoo," or I should explain you once again "A Tiger in the Zoo"? Shall I explain you "A Tiger in the Zoo"? Okay, so I am discussing with you today very quickly. Arey Sania, you don't know which chapter belongs to footprints? Don't you know? Haven't you checked the syllabus? See, no. Nelson Mandela is from First Flight. Diary of Anne Frank is also First Flight. 100 Dresses, First Flight. 1 and 2, Tiger in the Zoo, Amanda. Yes. So, Sania, there is a respite for you. There is no question from footprints, it seems, because you can see here all the lessons are from First Flight. Okay, therefore you have reasons to rejoice. Okay, yes, Saloni, it's good for you. Next test I shall give you exclusively from the footprints. So this time, as it is 30-mark questions and I had to include the poems also, therefore I have given you from First Flight. So it's okay, you can prepare from First Flight only. Okay, so dear students, now let's move on to the First Flight. Okay, Okay, so dear students, you can see here, first the theme, the poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in his natural habitat. Okay, so it might be difficult for you to see the font, so let me increase the font little bit for you so that you are able to see it properly. Okay, so okay, so dear students, you see here the poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in his natural habitat. So for the entire duration of this poem, you shall see that a tiger in the zoo has been contrasted, okay, with a tiger in his natural habitat. So what is the natural habitat for a tiger? It is the forest or it is the jungle, which is the natural habitat for the tiger. Okay, the poetess describes how the basic freedom of movement and free will of a tiger is curtailed when he is imprisoned behind the confined space of a zoo. So what the poet has said here, the poet has described that how the basic, it is very much natural, dear students, like the a tiger is a wild animal, so the tiger is supposed to roam around in the forest, in the jungle. Okay, so what happens when, to what extent their freedom of movement is restricted when a tiger is displaced from his natural habitat to an artificial habitat that is inside the zoo. Okay, so this is what the poet tries to draw our attention at, so that we can sympathize with the situation, and we can also sensitize people not to cage wild animals, okay, or any kind of animals, because caging the animal is something which is against the law, against the law, or against any morality. Okay, therefore it is not prudent, or it is not recommended to cage a bird or an animal. Okay, now you see the tiger in the poem is the metaphor for all the caged animals who are stripped of their natural habitat, and thereby restricting them to the miseries of the caged world. They languish for the entire duration of their lifespan behind the caged cell of the zoo. Yes, what happens as a result of caging an animal? Okay, so the writer has given enough information regarding this. Here he said that when a tiger tiger is just a metaphor, dear students. Tiger is just a metaphor in the poem, but tiger represents all the caged animals, okay, who are deprived of their natural habitat, and which gives rise to what? Miseries in the caged world. Okay, they languish for the entire duration of their lives, because they are languishing. Why are they feeling sad? Because they are always imprisoned, they cannot express their freedom, therefore they always keep languishing for the entire duration of their lifespan behind the caged cell of the zoo. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. By comparison, the poem shows the merits of roaming in his natural habitat vis-a-vis demerits of caged life. Okay, so what is given in the last paragraph? The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle. Okay, because as I told you here, this poem is a contrast between a tiger in his natural habitat and a tiger inside the zoo. Therefore, as it is a poem in contrast, therefore the poem keeps switching between a tiger in the natural habitat and a tiger in the zoo. Okay, so every alternate paragraph you will be seeing the contrast. Okay, by comparison, the poem shows the merits of roaming in his natural habitat vis-a-vis demerits of caged life. Thus, the poem conveys the message that wild animals appear to be beautiful in their natural habitat, just like a child looks beautiful on the lap of his mother. We should not deprive them of their basic and rightful freedom by captivating them in the zoo cell. Okay, now, dear students, let us go through the okay, so as you can see here, in the cage is written in the wild. Okay, in the wild means in the cage versus in the wild. Okay, here the NCERT solution is given, but explanation of the text is not there, it seems. Okay, explanation of the text is not there. Okay, so no matter, I'll explain you. Okay, so here I have found out the poem for you. Okay, so dear students, you see here, he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on pairs of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Okay, so in the first stanza, the movement of the tiger inside the zoo has been described. Okay, movement of the tiger inside the zoo has been described. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Okay, so what is the meaning of stalks, dear students? Walk slowly. Okay, walk slowly is what is stalk all about. Okay, then you see, okay, he stalks in his vivid stripes because he has very colorful stripes, in his body. Okay, the few steps of his cage on pads. Pads means feet. Pads here refer to feet. On pads of velvet quiet. Velvet quiet is color actually. Okay, on the pads of velvet quiet. Okay, he is very much moving around moving around few steps only, because he has limitation of movement. He is moving just few steps inside the zoo. Okay, in his on his feet. Okay, and on his feet of velvet color, but very quietly. Why quietly? Because he is very sad. Okay, quiet is a metaphor for the sad state of mind, dear students. In his quiet rage. Quiet rage means anger. He has suppressed anger. The tiger is having suppressed anger, means anger concealed in his mind, hidden in his mind. Why? Because he has been deprived of his natural habitat. Therefore, he is angry. But he has suppressed his anger because he cannot show his anger now. Okay, he might show it when people come around, but at the moment he is quietly stalking. Stalking means he is walking. Okay, walking in the colorful stripes. Okay, amidst the colorful stripe of his when he's walking, he looks majestic. Okay, he looks colorful. That is why the writer has written vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads means on feet of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Okay, on the pads of velvet color feet actually. Okay, and he is quietly moving in his quiet rage. Quiet rage means he has suppressed anger. He has suppressed anger. Okay, now he should be lurking in shadow. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass near the water hole where plum deer pass. This means, dear students, he should be, means in the second stanza again there is a contrast given here. The contrast of the tiger in the stanza 1 with the tiger in the with the tiger in stanza 1, which is in the inside the cage, vis-a-vis or versus the tiger in his natural habitat, which is given in stanza 2. So we can find the tiger in the natural habitat in stanza 2. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plum deer pass. Okay, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass, because sometimes the tiger, when they feel hot, then they hide in shadow. Okay, sometimes they slide through the long grass, okay, and take rest there in the jungle, which is what is missing inside the zoo. Understood? Therefore the poet is showing the comparison here. Near the water pole, sometimes where plum deer pass. Okay, plum deer pass. So as you can see, dear students, here plum deer means young deer. Okay, and water hole means a river where animals come to drink water. Okay, a river where animals come to drink water. Understood? So where young deer pass, so sometimes near the water body he must be lying, okay, around, and where the plump or young deer pass. Why does he lie there? Because he sometimes wants to drink water, and sometimes he comes for the hunting of deer also. Okay, now let us move on to the third stanza. You can see the third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So once again in the third stanza we can see the tiger in his description of the tiger in his natural habitat. We can see tiger in his natural habitat in stanza 3. He should be snarling around houses. Okay, so dear students, you can see the meaning of snarling here, showing the teeth. Okay, snowing the teeth is what is called snarling. Okay, so, and jungle's edge means border of the forest. Edge means the border. Okay, border of the forest. Okay, white fangs means white teeth. Bearing means showing. Okay, showing his white teeth. Okay, so now let's read once again. He should be snarling around houses, moving around the houses. He should be snarling around the houses. Okay, snarling means showing teeth. He should be showing teeth around the houses he was passing through. Okay, or passing by. At the jungle's edge, because at the border of the forest, okay, at the edge of the forest there might be some habitat, okay, human habitat. Therefore people, he will be showing his face. Okay, he will be showing his teeth, face, to those people who are living in the border of the forest. At the jungle's edge means the border of the forest. Bearing his white fangs, white teeth. Okay, he is showing his white teeth, his claws, terrorizing the village. Terrorizing the village means he is frightening the villagers sometimes. Okay, when he is in his natural habitat, when he comes out of the deep jungle into the edge of the forest, into the border of the forest, where there are some human beings living. At that place he sometimes terrorize the village people also. Okay, so now let's move on to the fourth, I suppose, first, second, third, fourth, fourth stanza. Now let's move on to the fourth stanza. Again in the fourth stanza there is a contrast, dear students. The poet has described, or the poet is describing about the tiger inside the zoo in fourth stanza. Second and third stanza consecutively he has described about tiger in his natural habitat. Now he has again switched to the tiger inside the zoo, so as to show the contrast. Okay, now you see, you can see here, but he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Okay, but he is locked in a concrete cell. Okay, inside the prison. It is the setting of the prison which has been described. Okay, it is the setting which inside the prison which has been described. Okay, he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength behind bars. But he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength behind bars. Stalking the length. Stalking means moving, going to and fro. Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors, because he is having a suppressed anger. He is mentally not healthy. He is having his suppressed anger, therefore he is ignoring visitors. He is preoccupied with his own thought of thought of sadness. Therefore the tiger is ignoring the visitors, whoever is whoever is coming to visit the zoo. He is locked in a concrete cell. This is the structure of the zoo. His strength behind birds. Okay, his strength is all behind the birds. He cannot display his strength because his strength has been snatched away by the zoo authorities. Stalking the length of his cage. He is moving here and there, to and fro. He is walking to and fro, to and fro, the total length of his cage, and in the process he is ignoring the visitors. So dear students, this stanza is very simple, and nothing to no more difficult words also. Okay, so now let's move on to stanza 5. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Okay, again what happens here, you can see patrolling cars. Patrolling cars means sometimes when the police patrol or the forest authorities patrol. Okay, so he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So as you can see here, dear students, behind bars means locked, stock means walking, concrete, cement. Okay, so now you can see here, we shall discuss a little bit about the NCERT solution. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars in his cage. From the cage, okay, from the cage he is able to see the last voice at night, the sound of the nearby patrolling cars. Okay, and he stares with his brilliant eyes and at the brilliant stars. Okay, because he has nothing more to do. He because his freedom has been restricted, therefore his choice is also limited. Okay, so dear students, that's all about this poem. So we have seen how the contrast has been given between the stanzas. Okay, first stanza is the first stanza, as you can see, the tiger inside the zoo. Then this is the second stanza is inside the in his natural habitat. Third stanza also in his natural habitat. Here also you can see fourth stanza and fifth stanza inside the zoo. Okay, so there's a contrast given, dear students, okay, in this poem. Okay, now as you can see here, these NCERT solutions, okay, you please refer to. Like in the first sentence, velvet quiet refers to soft velvet pads or feet of the tiger when it moves on the surface of the zoo, whereas the quiet rays refers to the suppressed anger of the tiger at not being able to exercise his natural freedom of movement. So in the second sentence, brilliant eyes refers to the dazzling and beautiful eyes which are the creation of the Almighty God, yet confined in artificial zoo. Understood? In spite of having the natural, in spite of having the natural beauty, okay, of tiger, having beautiful eyes, but in spite of that he has been locked inside the zoo. Therefore the writer has criticized, actually. Okay, it's an ironical statement on the part of the poet, that in spite of having such a gifted pair of eyes, beautiful eyes, okay, in spite of having such a beautiful appearance, the tiger has been kept inside the zoo, which is really ironical. Okay, so dear students, uh, and the rest of the poems I already discussed in my revision classes. So I hope you have understood. Just go through the NCERT solution questions, and now not much of time is there, of course. So I shall wind up, dear students. I shall wind up. Any question? You can, Harshada Case Tiger, what do you mean by that? Can you please elaborate your question a little further so that I can answer your question if you have any? Okay, so dear students, if you have any other question, you can ask me, you can text me, I shall reply. If you have any other question, you can text me, I shall reply. Okay. Okay, so dear students, that's all about today's revision as well as today's tips. Okay, so please write clearly, and before I sign off, let me tell you, dear students, that is very important, dear students. So let me tell you one thing, you please do listen. What you do is go to the, after you finish writing your papers, on the first page itself you write your name, class and subject. Okay, on the first page itself, first page of your answer script, not your cover page. I'm talking about the first page of your answers script. It's better you write on an A4 size paper. Okay, A4 size paper, in your English notebook you can write, or you can write, if you have made any particular test copy there, you can write. That doesn't matter. So let me tell you how to send me, actually how to send me. First of all, you do write on the first page of your answer sheet, write your name, class and subject. Then you start question number 1, question number 2 likewise, and then after you finish writing your answer sheet, you go to Microsoft Lens app and take the pics of each of the pages. Try to maintain serial order of the question. Okay, then it will be easier for us to evaluate. Try to maintain the serial number of question. So try to maintain it by clicking systematically. Okay, the pages, go to the Microsoft Lens. From there you take the pics, okay, in serial order of the page, and then in the app itself there is a gallery. Okay, there is a gallery. Go to gallery and select all those pages which you have selected, which you have clicked from Microsoft Lens. You will find it in the gallery section of the Microsoft Lens app itself. You don't have to go to your default device gallery. You will find the gallery in the Microsoft Lens app itself. So go to gallery after clicking the pics, and then select all those pics which you have just clicked from Microsoft Lens, and then select those pics from the gallery of Microsoft Lens, and then you will find on the bottom side, right hand side, there is a red button. You click on that red button, and then the next page will appear. And when the next page opens or the next window opens, you will find two options, gallery, then PDF. You click on the PDF, and then when the PDF is created, then you rename it. Okay, you rename your file, like Akansh says, Saloni, for example. So you'll write the name, first name Saloni, then English online English test, or just English test. Okay, you write down first your name, for example Saloni, then you'll write English test. Okay, or English online test, whatever. and then directly from Microsoft Lens, dear students, you can forward me on my WhatsApp, personal WhatsApp, not on group. Okay, so this is how, dear students, you convert in PDF. Then it will be very easy for you. Okay, because if you send the screenshots, in that case it is difficult because they are the fragmented images, so they might get lost somewhere in the gallery. So if there is a PDF file, all your pages are together with me, it is always safe. Okay, so that we don't miss out any of your answer, that is why I recommend you, dear students, to please go with your with the conversion of PDF file. Okay, thank you so much, dear students. That's all about today's session, and all the very best for today's test. Okay, so I am signing off now, dear students. Thank you so much for being with me all throughout the session. Bye bye and take care.